This meeting of the Monroe Township Council on this October 7th the agenda session is called to order. As just a point of general information that I have been asked to mention, there is a baseball game that some folks are really interested in. That is occurring this evening. If you see people begin to wander, you'll know why. Is my mic on? No. I'm on, okay. It's the beginning of my agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, would we all please rise as we honor our flag? Councilman DePiero has a moment
I just
of
like
silence
to
to add to it. Please, sir.
exactly just like to have a moment of silence for the victims and lost their lives in the hurricanes, and also what's ahead of them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Roll call, please. Who did we call to order? Do you need to do a roll call?
Councilman DePiero.
Here.
Councilman Michael Markell. Here. Councilwoman Rupa P. Siegel.
Here.
Council Vice President Terrence Van Zora.
Here.
Council President Miriam Cohen.
Present. Would you please read the Sunshine Law into the record?
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. 1. Posted on the bulletin boards within the municipal building on December 29, 2023, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2. Printed in the Home News Tribune and the Cranberry Press on December 29, 2023. 3. Posted on the Monroe Township website. And 4. Sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the Council President.
Thank you. We will move to presentations and proclamations. The Library Director, Leah Wagner, is here. Yes?
Let me help you.
I will join you. Coming down this way. Leah has it.
It's here. Hello. It is, but it's okay.
It truly is my honor to participate in the proclamation that Leah is reading and presenting to our friends of the library here this evening. As you all know, there is not one of us who lives in this town that does not know that the true gem of the many gems we have, certainly a preeminent gem, is our library. And that is so because of the people who work at our library and the people who volunteer their time in an organization like Friends of the Library to make it possible for many people to have access to programs and events. And as I was in the library last week looking for something, I spotted the little cabinet where you can buy supplies.
Yes.
As anybody who knows me knows, I rarely have a pen, or if I did, I can't find it. And I frequently need some notepads. And there's that little machine. And I thought, what a wonderful little piece of equipment. And it's made possible because of the work that all of you do. So I could wax enthusiastic, but I won't. I will let Leah do this, please.
Say my words later after that?
Yes.
Okay. So I figured she was going to ask me to read it, so I thought I'd better bring my glasses.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, but still I can't see. That's better. Okay, proclamation, Friends of the Monroe Township Public Library Week, it's Friends of the Monroe Township Library Week, October 20th through 26th, 2024. Whereas the Friends of the Monroe Township Library is a dedicated group of individuals committed to promoting literacy, education, and community engagement through the support of the Monroe Township Public Library. And whereas the Friends of the Monroe Township Library plays a vital role in enhancing the resources and services offered by the Monroe Township Public Library, making it an asset to our community. And whereas Friends of the Library Week is a time to recognize and celebrate the contributions of the Friends of the Library groups worldwide. And whereas the Friends of the Monroe Township Library have made significant contributions to our community through fundraising for programs for all ages, technology for Studio M, wireless printing, volunteering their time, and whereas the Friends of the Monroe Township Library oversee the Museum Pass program, providing access to museums in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. And whereas the Friends of the Library, Monroe Township Library, purchased the Monroe Township Library Book Bike to enhance the visibility of the library's outreach and its services. And whereas the Friends of the Monroe Township Library have supported the program and services for youth of our community by funding the annual summer reading program and events like the American Girl doll collection and the office and school supply vending machine. And whereas the Friends of the Monroe Township Library annually sponsors 3 scholarships for graduating Monroe Township High School seniors. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Stephen Delina, Mayor of Monroe Township, do hereby proclaim the week of October 20th through 26th, 2024, as Friends of the Library Week in Monroe Township, Middlesex County, New Jersey. I encourage all citizens to join in celebrating the Friends of the Monroe Township Library and their dedication to the fostering of love of reading, learning, and endless discovery. And that is the proclamation.
Few words if you wish to come.
I have a few words. So I did want to tell you a little bit about how this proclamation came about, because most of the times when you think of a Friends of the Library group, the first thing that comes to your mind is book sales. But I want you to tell you that the Friends group, any Friends group, is more than just a book sale. The book sale is how they raise their money, that and membership dues. It's what they do with that money that makes them so special. You heard many of the things that they do, but there's a couple that I think you should really know about. There are all the programs for all ages. They support the summer reading program. They have the vending machine that the council president mentioned that everybody likes. But for me, this year was really big because they bought a book bike. I know that sounds really odd, but they did. They bought a book bike, and it's a small bicycle that we can load with books. It looks like an ice cream cart. And we take that to places we cannot get into elsewhere because it's so small. We can go into the lobbies of the assisted livings. We can go into the lobbies of all of the clubhouses. We can get into places where we can't get the bookmobile because the streets are too narrow. We just load it in a truck and off we go. And it's allowed us to reach people we never could before. And for that, I can't thank them enough because there are always people that we can't reach. And the other thing I think that is really important is that they have provided for the past maybe 3 or 4 years a scholarship for a graduating senior. This year, they gave $3,000 scholarships to graduating seniors at the high school. What better way is there to help your community and to work with the young people in your community? And so I felt that it was really important that they be recognized for all of the hard work they've done. They have really enriched the library services that you can get at the library. And I would be remiss if I did not mention Francine Kitts, who is our president and could not be here today. It is through her leadership and her guidance that she has been able to keep this group together. They get unruly, but she's been able to keep them together and be able to do all of these things and to support the community as they do. So thank you to the mayor, thank you council, thank you friends, and thank you all very much. I hope you'll come to the library and see what we've got. Thank you.
Yeah, we need a little picture. Mr. Weinberg, in charge of pictures? Sure, yeah, just a 2-minute recess. Just a 2-minute recess so we can have some pictures taken, please. Folks, we are back in order. The other proclamations that we have this month are Hindu Heritage Month of October, Italian American Heritage Month in October, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Rett Syndrome Awareness Month, Becker Muscular Dystrophy Awareness Week, and Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day. Thank you. We will move to ordinances for second reading. Ordinance 08-2024, 2024-016.
Mike.
No, you have it.
I did.
One tap, you're in.
Thank you. Ordinance amending the Code of the Township of Monroe, Section 108-527, entitled Stormwater Management. This is an NJDEP mandated update. Ordinance for first reading, 010-2024-024. Ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the Code of the Township of Monroe, County of Middlesex, entitled Administration of Government, specifically Section 50, entitled Division of Police, and Chapter 79 of the Code of the Township of Monroe, entitled Police Department Rules and Regulations, specifically Section 79 through 80.1, entitled Specific Qualifications. The next is item on the agenda is resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda at the October 7th, 2024 meeting, R10-2024-217 through R10-2024-248. Council colleagues, and my assumption is you have all read through these resolutions. Any that you need removed from the consent agenda?
Yes, Council President.
Yes, please.
I have two.
Go ahead.
R10, 2024-224. R10-2024-233. That's it.
Okay. You're welcome. No one else has any that they wish removed? We will move to the public comment section of the agenda session. Please remember that public comment is limited to agenda items only and 5 minutes per speaker. I'd like a motion to open the public comment section.
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. All right. Public comment section is open. Anyone wishing to address the council, please come forward now. Remember your name and address for our records, please. You'll try hard. I knew that. Yes.
George Kunkelman, Monroe. I have a question on a couple of the items in the consent agenda. Number 238, rejecting the bids. Are we going back out for bids, or is there any change in the bid spec of the new one going out, and were they non-complying proposals, or
Why would
too
we do it?
expensive? What was the issue?
Mr. Warnberg, are you in, please, or Mr. Stroin?
Joe, do you want to take it, or do you want to?
Please.
Is this on? Yes. The reason why the bids were rejected is that it exceeded our estimated cost for the services, and the reason upon investigation was a 20% increase as a result of a performance bond, which isn't necessary for this particular bid. So we're rebidding exact same specification, except we're cutting out the requirement for a performance bond.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item, 239, authorizing the purchase of a gas buoy system. I have no idea what a gas buoy system is. Could someone explain?
Oh, yes, please.
Council President, if I may. So this replaces the regular and diesel gas facility that sits between the police department and EMS. It's a 1995 pumps that we're replacing, so it's almost 30 years old, and it's also tied into redundancy, and in case power goes out.
Okay, no, I just had no idea what that was. Thank you. The other question I had was item 241, which is purchasing a Caterpillar asphalt compaction. I thought that the Public Works had sold off their paving equipment. Why now are we buying a new roller?
So if
Please,
I can, Council
Mr.
President.
Weinberg.
So this is a smaller, not really a roller, and I don't pretend to be an expert in this, but this is replacing a 1997 BOMAG asphalt compaction model, and this is really just for patching that we do to make sure that we get it down right. So it's really just for small patching, and it replaces the one that's about 28 years old.
Fine, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else wishing to address us, please come forward. Ma'am, please state your name and address for our record.
My voice. Good evening, Lucio Panos. Is this on? Lucio Panos, 1208 Sealandera Plaza. 024. I'm just curious, how many police officers, what's the ratio of lieutenants to police officers and detectives?
Yeah.
On 2027. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'd like to congratulate, let me see something. Lori, I'd like to congratulate Lori on being promoted. She always seems to be on top of things, and I hope that, she continues to be, because your audit says there's a lot of room for improvement over in that department with the timely filings of the recommendations, and that the reconciliations aren't done on a schedule. They should have a schedule. The basis, there was, they said that certain things should have been rectified by December 31st, and I want to know where they rectified. Whatever that audit says, and which I regret that it wasn't online. I just had to grab it tonight. I just want to see what the recommendations were. Well, the recommendations you got to look at. Who's going to
We
read
have,
100?
of course, looked at all the
Okay,
recommendations.
I'm sure you did, but I'm asking everybody, look at them and then follow up on it, because there's recommendations there that I'm sure Lori's going to do a bang-up job on. But anyway, that, again, here we are buying almost $250,000 worth of vehicles on tonight, and not one of them has any is a hybrid or electric. But meanwhile, it's being pushed on the public. You better do this. You got to do this, and you guys don't do any of that. Why? Councilman, you on the phone? He doesn't even pay attention.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's oh,
I
excuse
heard
me.
exactly what you said. I don't appreciate the response, and I don't appreciate your insinuations.
Of what? What was I
You're
insinuating?
singling me out as a council member.
You're looking
I'm
down.
very familiar
Give the
with the
public.
agenda. I went through the agenda. I
Give
went
the
through
public
with
the
our
respect.
business administrator.
Okay, let's give
And
the-
I also
Let's give the public the respect, the transparency
also
that it
put things
deserves.
forward.
Yeah. Well, anyway, basically, it's the cause. It's congratulating Lori. It's please follow up on the recommendations because they are in need. And I'd like to know the ratio of lieutenants.
Right, I believe this is correct. I believe we currently have 6 lieutenants out of our 67 sworn total officers. If that's wrong, I'll clarify it with you tomorrow.
So now it's going to be 7 for only how many officers?
So we currently have 67 sworn officers. We're about to go to 70 sworn officers
I
because we have
hope
3
so.
people in the academy. This is what's called the Reuters Ordinance, so it's the maximum you can have. We'd ultimately have to budget for the lieutenant, but the Reuters Ordinance, which sits in our code, creates the maximum for each position, whether it be chief, captain, lieutenant, sergeant, and patrolman. And what this does is allow us to move, even though we only have 6 now, it authorizes up to 7, but the budget would have to move us to 7.
No, I think it's good to have good leadership, but there should be enough Indians to lead. Then one other thing, and there's a number of things that say authorizing award of competitive contract. That goes throughout, and that's very open. It's never said about Center State. Center State just gets the contracts. I never see. There's not one thing on here tonight that says us awarded through competitive contract to Center State, but that goes to every other. It seems like every other contract that's awarded is competitive. Why not? Isn't that in there? Somebody.
Professional services is completely different from competitive contract. That's how NJSA 48:11-1, that's how the legislature set it up.
So engineering is not a professional service?
No,
It is, but it's not, it can't be done by competitive contract. Professional services contracts are professional services contract. Competitive contracts are for building construction.
Correct.
They're not for professional services. It's two apples and oranges.
Okay, and bananas sometimes.
else wishing to address the council at this time? Seeing and hearing none, I entertain a motion to close the public comment section.
Make a motion.
May I have a second on that? Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public session is now closed. I'd like to entertain a motion to end the agenda session.
So moved.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Vanzora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Meeting is adjourned. It's so nice and warm in here, thank you.
I think her mic's off again.
I'd like to call the regular meeting to order. A motion, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Vanzora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
6:56.
May I have a motion to approve the payment of claims per the run date of October 2nd, 2024? Motion, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Vanzora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the following meeting as written and presented, the September 4th meeting, the agenda and regular combined meeting? Motion, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Vanzora.
Yes.
Council President
Yes.
Cohen. Motion carries.
Ordinance for second reading, 08-2024-016. Ordinance amending the Code of the Township of Monroe, Section 108-527, entitled Stormwater Management. We do not need a motion. It is on the agenda. Correct. Thank you. I'd like to have a motion to open the public hearing on that, please.
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to address us on this ordinance only, please come forward now. Seeing and hearing none.
We have one.
Do we have some? Oh, George, I'm so sorry.
Just slow getting up. Sorry. George Kunkelman, Monroe. I just wanted to know what this covers and what the effect of it is, if it's increased capacity, if it's going to require us to do remedial work, what's involved here?
Mr. Rasimowitz, please.
Council President, essentially, in short, it's for stormwater management designs of new construction, and any major subdivision would have to meet these requirements. Essentially, it uses current precipitation data, current rainfall numbers, as opposed to what's already in the old numbers at the state. So it'll be more in line with some of the storms that we're seeing these days, and it'll provide better stormwater management. That's the intent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address us on questions about this ordinance? Seeing and hearing none, I'd like to have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance.
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 08-2024-016, please?
Motion.
Thank you. Second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel. Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Vanzora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 6 is the resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda. R10 2024-21. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped an ordinance. First reading, my apologies. 010 2024-024, Ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the Code of the Township of Monroe, County of Middlesex, entitled Administration of Government, specifically Section 50, entitled Division of Police, and Chapter 79 of the Code of the Township of Monroe, entitled Police Department Rules and Regulations, specifically Section 79 through 90.1, entitled Specific Qualifications. Motion.
Motion.
Thank you. A second. Second. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel. Yes. Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda, R10 2024-217 through R10 2024-248, with the exception of
R10 2024-224 and R10 2024-233, which will be voted on separately.
Thank you. May we have a motion, please?
Motion.
May I have a second on that motion?
Second.
May we have a roll call vote?
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel. Yes. Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolutions that were removed for the consent agenda?
Resolution R10 2024-224 and 233.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We will move to the reports. Mr. Weinberg.
Yes, thank you very much, Council President. I'll be somewhat brief. Just comment on a few of the items on the agenda that were passed today. One, awarding a contract for design, bid, and construction of the paving, sidewalk, and drainage over on Links Drive. That's supported by a $552,000 state grant, so we're excited about that to move forward. Also, there's a design contract on for some pickleball courts over at the Senior Center, which is also supported by a $64,000 DCA local recreation grant, so excited about that. The other item on the agenda I wanted to highlight were the security cameras at the rec center, so that's an important improvement. We'll be rolling that out at other facilities as well. And then finally, just a couple quick upcoming events. The Oktoberfest, just in case folks don't mention, is 12 to 4 p.m. on October 20th. The Rec Center event at Etch Farms for Halloween Family Fun Night is on October 29th. And then, of course, trick-or-treating at Town Hall, which is always super fun to see everybody come into Town Hall, is great. The mayor did ask me to mention two quick things tonight. First, he wanted to mention that our hearts do, and this was mentioned earlier, our hearts go out to those who've been devastated by Hurricane Helene, our fellow citizens, and we're certainly praying as well for those who are in the path of this new hurricane, Hurricane Milton. And then also Mayor Delino wanted me to recognize Seymour Nussenbaum, a 101-year-old Monroe resident and World War II veteran from the Ghost Army. Some of you may have read about him, who passed away this past weekend. Mr. Nussbaum received the Congressional Medal of Honor earlier this year from Congress, which is an incredible achievement, and a special thanks to him and all his fellow veterans for their service. Council
Thank
President.
you. Mr. Razumowitz.
Thank you, Council President. Quick update on a couple of the projects going on around town. The county project at Old Bridge Englishtown Road and Mounts Mills Road, that traffic signal. Jersey Central Power and Light is finishing up their work out there, and we anticipate paving in the next couple of weeks. Applegarth and Joan Warren Way intersection, that traffic signal, the signal is still up, and it has a bag over it, so it's awaiting Jersey Central Power and Light to provide power to that signal, and then that should be up and running. Demolition of the Garvey's project on Spotswood Gravel Hill Road. Again, that's ready to go, waiting on Jersey Central to complete their shutoffs and provide documentation to the construction department. Our 2024 roads paving project, we completed. We paved 18 roads throughout town, as well as a portion of the library parking lot. In the next week or so, they'll be finishing up the striping of those roads. And lastly, at the last meeting, the NJDOT grant project for Inwood Estates was awarded, and we had a pre-construction meeting, and I hope to get that started real soon.
Thank you.
That's my report.
Council reports. Council Vice President, would you like to start us off tonight?
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to clarify one thing. I think when it comes to environmental questions and green energy, things associated with the town, probably the most progressive out of all the council people. Every month, whenever there is a vehicle that's to be purchased, I have questioned business administrator. They get sick of hearing from me at every pre-meeting to find out whether or not that's a possibility. And I'm told that despite all the multiple cooperatives in the state that we possibly go through to get the purchase, there simply aren't any vehicles of the types that we've needed that have been available for purchase. I've questioned them at length about that. So the question then becomes, as between not having the new vehicles, which are necessary, versus having an older style vehicle or a gas vehicle, if you want to call it that, I will vote to approve the vehicle so that the township has what it needs. I certainly hope that in the future, the state cooperatives that we go through, given that they continue to push for green energy, will have the necessary vehicles in the future. We'll be able to start to make the purchases as they become available. And in that same regard, I also mentioned for the first time that we should consider starting to have some charging stations built in the town. They don't have to be all built at the same time, but start to have it so that when the vehicles are purchased, it does not, we don't have another major expense at the same time, or start to put some money into a fund for that purpose. So I just wanted to clarify that. The other thing I just wanted to say, as different people have mentioned about Hurricane Helene, every time I see it, it just seems like it just gets worse, and over 250 or more lives now are lost. If anyone wants to make a donation, redcross.org/donation is a place where you could go to contribute if that's something that you feel you can do. Not everybody can afford it, but if you can, that at least is a reputable place where hopefully it'll get to the people, and we'll continue to hope for the best with about that situation in Hurricane Milton. So thank you.
You are most welcome. Councilwoman Siegel, please. Second
Thank
Ward
you.
Councilman.
Thank you, Council President Cohen. Good evening, everyone. I want to start with congratulating Lori Ola for being appointed our new Chief Municipal Finance Officer. I look forward to working with you in your new role and wish you all the best. I wanted to do, we'll do a little clap for you. I did want to also do a shout out to DPW. This past Sunday, yesterday, was the last open house at the Dye Farm site, historic site. And I just have to say, they have done an amazing job all year long, making sure our farm was all set, making sure the grass is done. Everything looks beautiful. We had a big vintage baseball game a couple weeks ago, and it was immaculate. It was just gorgeous. I mean, it just looked beautiful. So I just want to do a huge thank you to DPW for always taking care of that. I did want to do a little update around our Township Diwali event. I wanted everyone to mark their calendars. It's being held on Sunday, October 27th at the Senior Center from 4 to 7. Our Diwali committee has been working for many months trying to pull this event together, and the day is going to be filled with music, cultural programming, some opportunities to purchase and try some of the food from our local Indian restaurants, and lots of vendors. And we're going to end our evening with the big Thea lighting, so please mark your calendars and try to join us at the Senior Center. And I wanted to just point out, I know there were several proclamations on the agenda tonight, and I wanted to point out two of them around Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Council President Cohen and I went to a fundraiser this past Saturday and did a proclamation for Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day, which is on October 13th. And I have to say, this is the first time I've ever read anything or heard or actually met survivors with stage 4 breast cancer. So I encourage everyone to read these proclamations. I didn't know about it, as I said, and it was really hits home, I guess is the words I'm looking for. And I also want to just share some statistics around breast cancer. It is the most diagnosed cancer in women. The numbers are startling. 297,790 women will be diagnosed, and 42,000 women will die from it. So October 18th is National Mammography Day, and if you haven't made your appointment or you haven't gone this year, maybe October should be the month that you remember to do this very important thing. So, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Markel. Ward 1.
I just like to congratulate Lori. She's a great young lady. I'll say young lady. Does a great job. Congratulations. Like to do a shout out to the Green Fair. I don't know how many of us went. It was absolutely fantastic. Anybody that doesn't have faith in our youth today should go to the fair and come in contact with the young people there. They're absolutely wonderful. They did a lot of the explaining, and a lot of the exhibits were through the young people. One other thing I'd like to mention was the Taste of Monroe we had at the Senior Center for Betty Snyder Food Bank. Something that's important to me as a past retailer is that we had multiple restaurants donate their food samples to the Taste of Monroe. And I'd like to mention the short list of restaurants that donated food and their services to this tasting, which we got a tremendous amount of donations for Betty's Pantry. And as I say, as a past retailer, what people don't understand is these retailers are asked by the schools, by the council, by multiple organizations for their donation and their time. And very often when we go out to dinner or we go out shopping, we forget about these local retailers. So I'm just going to read the list. It's a short list, and I'd like people to take note to frequent these places because they helped us when we needed them. Amici Bakery, Antonio's Italian Restaurant, Bearded One Barbecue, Jersey Kebab Platters and Grill, Mind the Gap Coffee, Forsgate Country Club, 390 Prime Steak and Seafood Restaurant, and Tomatoes Pies and Italian Kitchen. We had a number of people come and taste their foods. It was really fantastic. The only thing else I'd like to say is congratulate the Friends of the Library. They without them, the library wouldn't be as great as it is. And everybody knows we have probably the premier library in the state. Thank you very much.
Most welcome. Councilman DePiero.
Thank you. I'd like to, as Councilman Markle just said, it's real important that we shop local. It's very important, as he said, that when we ask them to help our community, it's in return, the community should help our businesses stay local and to be able to help our schools and our seniors and programs that we rely on to support our residents. I want to congratulate Lori as well, because I first met Lori when Economic and Industrial Commission, and she came on board because we couldn't find a secretary. So I just, I tease her every once in a while about it because it was many years ago. And you're just a prime example of, in Monroe, that you started at a part-time position, and now you're going to be basically helping run our town and keep in our town, make sure to keep the lights on, so to speak, and also that our bills get paid. And as one resident said, make sure that our audit gets done on time and everything like that. And I know you do a phenomenal job, and I've experienced it many times. And so good luck, and we're here for you just like you're here for us. So thank you. I had a question in reference to the street lighting bills. I noticed it was on the bill list. Do we pay for street lights per light pole, or do we pay for the usage on these bills? Because there are many lights that are out through our township. So are we paying per pole, or are we paying for the usage?
Council President, if I could. I believe it's per pole, but I just would want to clarify that. And the point is noted because JCP&L, as mentioned earlier in Mark's comment, doesn't do that great a job, but that's how they bill every town, whether it be PSE&G or JCP&L, throughout the entire town.
Okay, so with that said, as we know, our CFO's been paying our bills, and we've been approving these bills. Maybe we get someone either from our police department, I know they're the ones that used to go out and look at the lights, or engineering department, and go up and down our community, because there's a good percentage of lights that are out for a long period of time. One example is Machaponics and Spotswood Gravel Hill. It's been out before we even started the project. At that intersection, it's still out. I mean, I can go on. Spotswood Gravel Hill is probably 8 poles just in the Pines alone. So maybe we can get an update on what lights are on and what lights are off versus what we've been paying, and maybe they might owe us a few bucks. So that's something I wanted to point out. Dye Farm, I was at the baseball game as well, and Rupi did a great job throwing out the first pitch, and that was great. A lot of us were there to see that, and it was a great day. But I want to say there's over 200 people at that event. It's nice to see DPW put the fencing up in the front, but I think that we can do a little bit more for that beautiful property. And one being a parking lot, they park on the grass in the entrance. Maybe we can have our engineer propose some kind of stone, gravel parking lot to help the people that come there. We're not parking on grass and all over the place. So I think something that we should look into is a parking lot to help them out. I'm the chairman of the Citizen Review Board, as Terry's on, and Alan, and also Tanya as well. And I attended the graduation they had on October 3rd. At the facility which we call a state home from 1866, and there was 35 graduates that they call residents, and the graduates got their GED degrees for high school, and it's very interesting because they had one guest speaker. His name is Chris Wilson, and he was in school at 17 and he actually murdered somebody, killed somebody, and he had a life sentence. And they had him come as a guest speaker because he turned his whole life around in prison, and he was able to turn his life around, and the judge gave him a second chance in life. And with listening to the stories sitting there, another board member, Stan, came as well. And just listening to the stories of the people that are there, sometimes they get in a bad situation just by being with somebody, and they're guilty by association. And sometimes it gives them an opportunity to see what the jails or what the prisons or security facilities are like. And being inside there, I used to go in there for recreation when I was a lot younger, and now they're talking about closing the facility. And as we always ask the question, how far off? But it was good to see the inside of the prison, they call it. But it's a good way to see people in a different way, because there's people in there. They know that they did wrong, and they're trying to improve themselves. So it gave them an opportunity to have that graduation. I just thought it was important to attend. It was the third one that I went to, and I just thought it was really good to hear the stories. So I wanted to share that. I also wanted to talk about next year's budget. Hopefully, Alan, I think we should increase the paving in the 2025 program. I know we don't know what the cost of oil is going to be, stone and asphalt. It always seems to be going up, but I think if we can get to a $2 million, annual budget, if we can do that, it would definitely help out, get more roads paved. as we have over 500 miles of roads that we're trying to pave throughout the year and trying to get sections done. So planning ahead, I just think that's something that maybe we could think of going forward for next year. And also, while we're talking about paving, JSM, whatever approval we had on Mounts Mill Road, our past mayor and some of the council, we did some paving on Mounts Mill Road, which was the responsibility of the developer on the off-site improvements. I would really like to have somebody from our legal department and our planning to look into what exactly are in those approvals and what we, as I say, as taxpayers, what we spent to fulfill part of that builder's obligations on Mounts Mill Road. And the reason why we did that paving with the previous mayor and the council was because it was a safety issue. And if I remember, Mayor Tamburo always saying, I'm going to get that road paved. If the developer doesn't do it, then we're going to do it, and we'll deal with it going down the road. But the residents was coming in here constantly talking about when is that road going to get paved. So if we can look into what was in that approval for off-site, and also what we spent, and it's paved, it's great, but the intersection is a nightmare. He's on the hook for that. God only knows when he's going to do it. So maybe we can get some kind of answers. As I approached the municipal building, I noticed Gal's Landscaping, a local landscaper, does our landscaping, does a great job with the mums, the mulching, and the landscaping with all our township properties. And I just wanted to say thank you to his staff and his crew and our DPW guys that work hand in hand with him. I went to Beatlemania, and it was a great, over 500 people were there, great concert right here at the high school. And the Cultures Art did a beautiful job by putting that together. It was really done very well. It started out with Ed Sullivan, which brought back a lot of memories. Councilman Markle was there. I'm not old enough. You're not old enough to know, but I'm old enough, so I thought it was really done very well, and I just wanted to say thank you. Also with the Green Fair, I'm the liaison for the Green Fair for council, and they work hard. They start working on the Green Fair the next week when the last one was just done. So that was something that was done. A lot of us attended it. It was well organized, and we did have a lot of support from the community. I wanted to thank the police department for putting up, I noticed the first solar speed limit sign on Ellingham, Erickson Avenue, and I wanted to say thank you for putting that there. The few residents called me, and I sent a few emails. If you can pass that along to our police department and say thank you for getting that solar speed limit sign up, and maybe we can get a few more. Dye Grove Road, a lot of people are calling with speeding, Avenue K by our park, Monmouth Road, and also Schoolhouse Road. A lot of people it's 25-mile-an-hour speed limit areas, and people are going a lot faster. So I just wanted to get a shout out to our police, and also maybe they can get some more up. I noticed a lot of talk about people coming from nursing homes, assisted living, and just walking at night, and they're either dressed in clothes that you can't see, and the driver can't see people walking, and some of them are walking right down the middle of the road. So I thought maybe we could think of pedestrians that are walking in our community, if we can get vests, like the reflective vest, and provide reflective vests for daycare centers. And if there's people that, I know every time we go out on the road, Alan, you put your vest on the first thing you do, and you make sure we have ours on. But when there's people walking down these roads, and it's dark, and they're coming out of either facility nursing homes, assisted livings, or daycares, wherever they're coming out of, they're hard to see at night. and a lot of our roads don't have sidewalks. So I just thought maybe there's something that we can help these owners, either ask them to have vests for their residents, or maybe we can help provide vests. And it's just something that I thought that to bring to the mayor and the council's attention. And we lost a lot of we lose a lot of people in our town. This month alone, we lost our planning and zoning secretary. Her mom passed away. A lot of us were at the viewing at actually the church, and also Maria Melnick, who does cultural arts. Her husband passed. Some of us was there as well. I was thinking maybe we can do like plant a tree program. We can have something that positive for each and every one of the people. When we lose someone in our community, maybe we can have a plant a tree, help the family as a remembrance of everything that they've done. For example, if it's like somebody from DPW, we can help plant something along one of our parks, or if it's the police, maybe someone that plants trees at the police department. So I just thought maybe, I know Carteret has plant a tree program, and it's something that maybe we should look into. And the last thing I wanted to say was, we have a lot of motorcycles, quads. We have a lot of people complaining about going up and down roads. We have a open space site that we purchased, or we received from the Turnpike property on Prineville Road. I know it's 400 or 500 acres. Maybe we could look into giving the people that have off-road vehicles an area to take these vehicles and use property, and give them somewhere to go instead of going through our whole community and just driving around. Especially areas like Mill Lake Manor and Alcolt and stuff like that. So it's just an idea that maybe we could look into. And that's all I have. Thank you.
That's it. I need a whole class every second to do that. But in the community where I live, we had purchased vests, and we had them made available to residents of the community. And when I come home, I see no one wearing a vest. It is very rare to see people wear them. I don't know who's on the street. I don't know, where they live, but we could perhaps see about doing a campaign to wear a vest when you're out walking, because many people own them and they just don't put them on, and then they're on the phone, so that's helpful as well. Or not helpful, but I did want to comment on that. Lori, congratulations. I have enjoyed working with you these last few years. I'm going to enjoy this even more. So much success and much happiness. And we are good with this. I would like to open for public comment now. Again, I would like a motion to open the public comment period. Motion to open, please.
Motion.
Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Remember, it's 5 minutes per speaker. And your name and address for the record, even if you've done so before.
Lucille Padams, 1208 Sealandera Plaza. As far as that that developer, what's his name, on Mount Mills Road, Jack something, I think. You must be holding bond money, so don't release the bond money when the time comes. I want to thank the clerk's office because you did a bang-up job. Election is a month away, less than a month away, and I know the county throws a whole bunch of stuff at you guys, and it's all done. I think it's on your end, it's all done. So thank you for that, since I've been doing that. And listen, sometimes I come up here and I have a lot to say because I think I know a lot, but that doesn't know such a. But one thing, this library, I took my granddaughter there. I have a 13-month-old granddaughter. I've been throughout the county and seeing libraries. Nothing is like this library. It is the best thing. She was entertained for like 2.5 hours. I couldn't get her out. She started to cry. So, anybody want to babysit? No, but anyway, I want to thank, the library is a really awesome place. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else wishing to address us, please come forward now. Hello. Your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Amy Benner, 33 Bentley Road. I did want to address a few things. We've been here before from our street. We haven't floated away yet. We have tried to address the water and sewer, the issues that we had on our road about our septic tanks and septic fields flooding. We're still having those issues, and I know that we had hired a lawyer that spoke that said we were supposed to get water and sewer from the developer that's in between that development that's going up with the 900 plus homes or something between Perineville and Applegarth. We haven't heard anything. We're kind of waiting on what's, the end result with that, if we're having that in the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Bentley Road.
You said, ma'am, Bentley Road?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's part of the design, and all the names sound familiar, so we'll go with the 900 unit one that's next to you. It's part of the design of that sewer system is for them to build the sewer out to yours, and then the town would connect to that to connect your street. Yes, that's all part of the plan. They just haven't got to that part of the construction yet, but as they will get to it. It's the quickest way of getting it for you, because for the town to hook you to sewers, otherwise we would have to go thousands of feet in the wrong direction, so.
Okay.
But it is still part of the plan, yes.
Yeah, because I know that we're basically like the last little street that has no development to it. Although I've grown up in Monroe my whole life. My grandparents came here in 1950, had their farm here. A lot of my family members worked for the township, being firemen and police officers. And that's why I stayed in Monroe. So I'm just hoping that our tax money can come back to us and something can be developed on the road. Also, besides the water and sewer, I know a lot of our issues are speeding lately. People use the cut through from 33 to Applegarth Road, both ways. And I do have a 6-year-old that waits for the bus. Obviously, I don't have him wait at the end of the driveway because we don't have sidewalks. So we wait back at the house. So thankfully, the school buses stop at each driveway. But that is an issue that we have people flying down the road. And I have come out and spoken with not so nice language to people because, we'll yell to slow down. And I know that the past mayor did have a slow down thing for about a week on the street. So it kind of is disheartening to see Jamesburg have that cool text message that they have the slowdown in our town, and we just had a week. So I was just hoping that something could be, looked over on that as well, please. I know we have it's a limited time here to speak, but just things like that, just to come back to our street because we didn't leave the town, we're still here. So that's it. Thank you.
We are aware of your concerns. Thank you
Okay.
for your comments.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address us, please come forward now. Freezing again. We lowered the heat again. Your name and address for our records, sir, please.
Danny Batko, 29 Bentley Road.
Yes, sir.
Okay. He just talked about a whole bunch of paving that was going on last year. We're trying to get more money for paving. Me and that man back there have called numerous times. Speeding. Nothing done. We talked about putting the signs up like you just put in Electric City. We can't get them. Paving our road. Nobody paves our road, but when 33 floods, they come down Bentley. I mean, this has been going on for 15 years, and you people have done nothing for Bentley Road. And you keep saying, oh, we're going to do it on the builder, when the builder does it. Maybe it's time that the township took care of Bentley Road and got reimbursed by the builder. Because he's saying, what's the time frame? 20 years? 30 years? Oh, no, well, we heard that before. It's going to be 5 years. It's been 15 years. Right? Nobody's got anything to say when tractor trailers are coming down the road when the road floods? Right? Wrong? No answers? I mean, I pay my taxes every quarter, and I get nothing for it. Nothing. They put another 50 houses up the top of the road. There's cars constantly speeding down the road, and nothing is done. Nothing's done. So maybe I don't have to pay my taxes anymore? Is that the way it goes? Because evidently you're not doing anything for any of us. Right? Wrong? No? No answer? If you lived on the street, you would understand the frustration. Right?
Yes.
Tesla after Tesla after Tesla, cutting through. You back out in the road, you almost get hit. Her poor son, I'm yelling at him all the time to stay away from the road. Nobody put speed bumps up. Nobody put a speed limit sign. I worked in this town for 34 and a half years. How many streets I marked out that were paved once, twice, 3 times? I've been there for 25 years. It wasn't paved one time. One time. Right? So, I mean, is there anything going to be done? We've called the mayors. We've called this guy. Nobody ever calls us back. We're like the redheaded stepchild out there, and I'm literally done with it. I pay my taxes every quarter on time. I want something done for Bentley Road. Not worrying about a baseball parking lot with frickin' putting some stone in it. Why don't we get Bentley Road taken care of? Because how many people live on Bentley Road? And they all pay their taxes, right? It's just very, very annoying year after year, call after call, and nobody does nothing. Nobody does nothing. But we're paving roads 2 and 3 times in other sections of town. Right? Wrong? No answers? Right? Nobody has to say anything? Am I like just talking to myself here? Or?
You're not talking. You've made it very clear what your issues are. And
But here's the thing. We've been making it clear for 15 years. Like, how much longer do we have to wait? I've called the mayor's office 100 times.
I would just add, I mean, I think I certainly appreciate your comments, and obviously we'll talk to the chief about better enforcement. We've certainly done that before.
Listen.
If you don't let me speak, then I can't
let him,
respond.
please.
Go ahead.
You
I'm
got
sorry.
your
I'm sorry.
time. You
I'm sorry.
please let Mr. Weinberg speak.
Trying to respond. So we can certainly emphasize that, and we can try and get the trailer out there as well. I know this has been sort of a cut through for a long period of time. There were some discussions years ago about whether or not it could become something like a cul-de-sac, but I know some residents on the street did or did not want that. There were times in the past where sidewalk was offered, but when it came up at the planning board, residents came out and were opposed to it. This goes back years. Mark can talk to that. Let me just finish.
Please.
I know that the area doesn't have sewer and water now. I know that when it came before the planning board made the decision to make sure that the developer who would be developing to the north, which would have to come through, and Joe can talk about how narrow the area is to put the utilities in, that when they came through, because we can only do this once, that those would be put in so that we wouldn't leave anyone behind to be able to connect to that. I can completely understand the frustration of wanting sewer and water yesterday. I know it's never been there, but I completely understand it. The challenge is that's an affordable housing project, or program, I should say, that we don't have control over when that moves forward. That's up to the developer. Some projects have moved forward very quickly. You see them across the street at Arbors. You see them at Monroe 33. But it's not land that we own. That's part of the settlement that was court-ordered in Round 3. So when JSM North, as it's called, comes into fruition, that will come through. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of those things. Mark and I and DPW and police and everyone, we go through and review every road, and we have lists of roads that we believe are the worst, and we also take in residents' feedback. And we have a moving list of stuff that we try and do the worst roads each year that need to be done. I believe Mark has already mentioned to me that Bentley is near that point, and we are looking to get to it, I believe next year. And so we try and do it in the order of priority and that they need to be paved. So I don't want to think we're not hearing your frustration, and certainly happy to talk to the chief. Sorry.
Right? Would you like, we can make sure that someone gets back to you? Please don't. I know how frustrating it is to make calls that don't get returned.
Oh, it's
I
beyond
know- there is
frustrating.
no one.
It's
I-
beyond
I-
frustrating.
There
you
is no
know?
one here who doesn't know that.
You know?
No.
I mean,
so
I'm not looking for anything extra.
not,
You all got water and sewer at your house? Probably, right?
yes, I do. Mr. Weinberg,
not asking
we
for
can
nothing
make
extra.
sure that when you have met with the chief and discussed the increasing patrols and whatever else the chief can do to help assure that the streets, people are not speeding, that you are made aware of this conversation. And when it reaches whatever point, they tell me on the paving project, that you are aware, so that you don't feel that no one is paying attention. And
Been there for 25 years and nobody's paved it.
sir, can only do what I can do now, what we can offer as a council now.
I understand, and I don't want to
25
see it
years ago, I
paved.
was in East Brunswick.
I don't want to
So-
see it paved and said, well, we're not going to rip the road up for water and sewer because we just paved
Well,
it.
but that's
Like I
part
said,
of
I've
the
been in
challenge.
construction for 34 years. I
That's-
understand it.
That is part of the challenge.
Yeah.
That is part of the challenge, and we do not control JSM's building. So that is part of the challenge. But we will do the best within the means we have, I would think. And I would perhaps suggest that you come to a council meeting more often. It's always good to see seriously, and that would, sometimes you get a
Well,
question answered on the spot.
I'm going to
and
come
I
every
thank-
time till we get it resolved.
That's fine.
Okay.
We meet once a month. Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward now. Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Motion.
May I have a second on that, please? Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you. A second. Second. We are all in favor of adjourning. That's not a debatable motion. Aye?
We are adjourned. The time is 7:41.
Thank you very much.